Hey guys, Rachel with Spunky Misfit Girl here, and it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and I was gonna sit down to my desk and do some crafting using some of the cards from this gorgeous Evening Fairies kit that I have up. It's just a journal card product. It's up in my Etsy shop, and they're really gorgeous, and I really hadn't given them the love that they deserve. So I thought I'd show them off a little and do a bit of a craft with me video. I am working on a last few products to bring with me to Crafters Convention in Waco next weekend. So I've been making these, what I'm calling slim blanks. And they are junk journal style handmade, hand-sewn notebooks, very beautiful, and they just have a simple tie closure, and they're blank on the inside. So you can fill these up with your own pockets and ephemera and various things that you want to do. The pages are different sizes and shapes, so it's very much a junk journal, but it's blank for you. So as a result, they're less expensive. So I developed that style to kind of have more on offer that was less pricey than something more complicated, like one of my envelope journals or one of the hard covers, which just take more time. But they're still beautiful, and they're a lot of fun for me to make. They're quick, they're easy, and I love doing them. So I'm just gonna take you along with me a little bit as I work on these. I think I'm gonna put these two on this one. And I just wanted to say, that I've had a lot of repeat customers lately, and I just so appreciate you guys so much. And I know that there's a few really dedicated people who follow me here on YouTube too, and even if you're not purchasing anything, if you're watching and commenting, that helps support the channel and helps support my little Etsy business. And so I really appreciate that. Shout out to Lady D, who's always here in the comments, and to Cindy, who's one of my repeats in the shop, and to Sharon, who's another of my repeats in the shop. Really appreciate you guys being here and sticking with me, and all your compliments on my work. I'm loving doing it, but I do also have a day job, and I'm really hoping that eventually this is something that can sustain me, that I can build it to that point. I'm really excited and also very nervous to teach some classes next weekend at the convention. So if you're coming, can't wait to see you. But yeah, also I will be using a microphone for the first time ever in my life. And that's really fun to push ourselves, right? And get out of the comfort zone and try something new. So hopefully it goes well. And that's part of what I love about junk journaling, is just that, you don't come here to make perfect things. You come to enjoy yourself, chill out, live in the analog world for a while, and that is what this is doing for me. So what I have here, this is the background. I think this is the one that goes with the journal cards. This one on the inside goes with my vintage backgrounds kit, also in my Etsy shop. And I've just printed these on either side of the heaviest cardstock weight that I use, which is not 110 pound. I want to say it's like 90 pound. My printer cannot print on 110 pounds, so it's whatever kind of the next level is down that I could get it to use. But it's a nice heavyweight, somewhat, I don't know, semi-gloss maybe, cardstock that I just get on Amazon. And it makes a good front and back cover for these nice fun notebooks. So I'm just inking that up, and I've been doing these in kind of the same style with my main image here on the front, and I've been putting just a second layer on there because I just love how that looks really nice. So for this one, I didn't have any papers handy that I felt like looked good and matched what I wanted here. So I actually went into Canva and I had done some of this for one of my previous journals, masquerade journal that I made. And I just went in and kind of changed the colors, tweaked a little bit, and printed until I got something that I was happy with in terms of this. It might be a little big. I just printed it 5x7, thinking I'll just trim it. So I might trim that down a little bit. But I really am happy with that. That was exactly the kind of color that I wanted, and I didn't have anything in my stash. I think I'm gonna cut a little bit from the top and bottom. Just like that. And I usually sew my pages in first so that my closure can go on the outside of my pages. I'm liking that. I don't know. Still feeling maybe a little bit big. But I think I'm gonna go with it. I think I like it. I'm just gonna ink up these nasty white edges. My blade's getting a little dull. So this paper is a mid-weight. It's mid-weight in between the weight for this cover that I use and then the copy paper that I use for my interior pages. And it's really like cottony, and it gets fluffy really easily on those edges if the blade is at all dull. Don't think it's time to swap it out yet, but probably getting close. I go through those blades like crazy. Yeah, I think that's good. So I'm gonna get this ready. And then I actually don't have interior pages. I'm slow with interior pages. I want them to look really nice as digital designs in the shop, but I'm a very slow designer. Still learning a lot of things, especially in Photoshop. I think I'm getting there, and I think I'm getting better, but for this, I just threw together really quick, simple journal pages, which I'll show you in a minute in Canva. I just took the journal cards and put them onto the background, and that's it. So what you can do is use other papers that you have to match up with this. And I'm gonna work when Crafters Convention is over. I'm gonna be working primarily. I'm gonna really try to keep myself. It's hard because I love the physical stuff. I love making stuff with my hands and doing stuff like this and actually crafting. It's very hard for me to just be working on digital designs, but that's my plan. after next weekend to try to really crank out some more, especially papers that go with the existing journal cards and ephemera kits that I have up, because I have a lot of great pretty kits that don't have papers. And I don't know about you guys, but I like to have matching papers and ephemera that go together. There. So that's what my cover is going to look like, and that's ready to go on. But first, I'm going to take my pages. So I've got my printed journal pages, and I'm just going to trim those down. I just printed them since this is 100%. And you guys, I finally learned how to print borderless on my printer. I might have told you that already, but I was so excited about that I can do that now with the covers. So I don't have to trim everything down. So these are just at like 97% to fit nicely inside the covers. And I do 4 at a time, and that usually works about right. Sometimes it gets a little off. I try to go kind of inside the printed area so that it doesn't leave extra white anywhere. Sometimes there's a little bit, and that's okay. But I do like to fix the big ones like this. All right, and then there's 4 more. And I've got 2, I usually do 12. It's just 1 signature, and I do 12 pages to the signature. So I've got 8 printed pages and 2 coffee dyed pages and 2 other little different pages that go in here. Those guys ready to go, and then I've got my 2, so I've got just a little book page and a little other scrapbooky kind of page. So these guys I'm just going to fold in half. I swear it feels like something's biting me. It is spring here, so it's not impossible. So I'm just cutting those in half. Or not cutting them, folding them. My goodness. Talking and crafting at the same time. I never claimed to be an expert. So I'm just gonna mark about where I want that to be for it to fit, and then I'm gonna take them both and cut them both at the same time. And then we're gonna fold up our pages. Aren't these pretty? Pretty moons, pretty girls. I've not yet made an ephemera kit out of these, but if they get some attention and are popular, I will consider it. So far, I think they haven't really been seen too much. Folding and burnishing the folds for all of these guys. And then we will be ready to sew already. This is easy. Although, actually, what I've been doing that I like is actually better to do before I sew. I do sometimes forget. And it can be done after you sew as well, but that is rounding the corners on the outside of these papers. I kind of like that look. I've done it with the cover, and I just like the look of grabbing those outside corners and rounding them. It just kind of has a nicer, more cozy professional look. So I'm just doing 2 at a time, popping them into my corner rounder at the 7mm to match the cover. Doesn't have to be super precise. This guy's a little shorter though. The paper on top here is the one that had the white, extra white. And then these little guys too, once they're folded, you can do both sets together, and these two can go together as well. It's a little trickier for my punch. I don't know if that's gonna get better or worse. Yeah, it got worse. All right, so I'm gonna figure out who I want on top. I kind of think I'm gonna go with the door. Put this pretty princess in the middle. And then I do 2 printed pages, 1 coffee dyed, and then 2 more printed. A little guy. 2 more printed again. A little guy. And my last 2 printed. And my last coffee dyed. And that is my signature. Give it some burnishing. And now that guy's ready to slide right in here into our cover. Open it up to the middle. Using my clamps to clamp it down on opposite corners so that it stays where I want it. And I'm going to poke holes right through here, about the middle first. I'm just going to pamphlet stitch this, which, if you're new, super easy, very useful. If you're not new, you've probably been doing this a million times already. You've probably seen me do it a million times already. So I like to go back through my holes just to make sure my sewing will be nice and easy and my needle isn't gonna get caught in the middle of those papers. So I'm gonna take my thread and do 3 times my height, which is probably a bit long. You don't have to do it that long. This is beeswax thread, which is made for bookmaking. I'm gonna go inside my middle hole, leave a tail about, just long enough to be outside the book. And then I'm gonna go in through the top, and you can do this on either side. You can do it on the bottom if you prefer. And see, I still have a little bit of slippage and stickage in this hole because I'm on camera, I swear. There we go. And then down and out through the bottom hole and back in through my middle hole, and that is, oh, I don't want to go right into the middle of the thread on the other side. There we go. Okay, so then we're gonna tie, ooh, I got it on either side already. Perfect. And we're gonna tie a hole, tie a hole, guys. Tie your hole. And then another knot to keep that guy secure inside there. And I'm gonna cut those nice and dangly, but inside the length of the notebook. Take these guys off of here, and that is our basic structure, and it is so nice. Then we need a tie for this guy. And I'm gonna put that on there. I was thinking about using this one. I kind of like that color contrast, but I could also go for something like this, kind of liking this. Ooh, yeah, I think we're gonna do that. That's nice. So what I do with this is measure it out. Ooh, it's a little bit, it's kind of dusty and musty, and like it's getting in my throat. I make them nice and long. I like to have a nice dramatic tie there. So I'm gonna go about like that, and then I'm gonna get a second one of the same length. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm gonna have a whole notebook done and a video. How we doing on time? All right. Okay, so then I'm gonna put it where I'm gonna glue it. So I'm gonna put them both just like this so that they line up at about the same length over on this side. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue just where the cover is gonna be, where the image is gonna cover over. I'm gonna try not to put any glue on these sides because there'll be some space. And then I'm just gonna glue this guy flat down here. Like that. And this lady is gonna go right over the top, just like that. And then I have been doing like here, some kind of thing down at the bottom. I don't know what that's gonna be for these yet. Maybe starlight? Starlight would go very well as a word. Starlight is one of the words that is in my words kit on Etsy. Just the regular words. I think I have the Gothic words kit up there too. But it gives you a whole bunch of great choices for just basic words to use. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and put this lady on here right now while that glue is setting a little bit before I turn it over and do the back side. So I use tape around the edges of these just because it's a little cleaner and neater. You don't end up with glue squirting out, but you do get your edges. And so for the front, I'm going just a little bit higher up. So I have this space down here for the whatever word or other piece of thing I want to put there. Still got some glue on here. All right, and then with that there, I'm gonna do the same thing on the back, although I am not, I didn't print out a second. This is a different color. I have to do that. So I'm actually not gonna have a finished thing here. I'm just gonna put this guy here, glue this guy down, and I'll show you guys. tie that sucker up. But I'm gonna have to go and print another one of my backgrounds for my back lady. All right, so where in fact did my back, there she is. So this one's gonna get her backing blue background and go back here. And with her, I'll just put her probably about centered because I'm not gonna add anything else. And that is your basic slim blank notebook. And then I just tie these guys up, and I just think that's really charming and beautiful when they're nice and long and swoopy like that. Ooh, I'm pleased with that tie with this overall aesthetic. I just have to finish up the back, and that's your slim blank notebook with the Evening Fairies journaling cards. Thank you guys so much for watching.